A benefit softball tournament in Fort Smith today brought first responders together for Officer Kyle Newman, who was shot in the line of duty earlier this month. We're taking a look tonight at how the event grew into a wider show of support for Newman, his family, and the Fort Smith Police Department. In Fort Smith, first responders from across the region came to play for something bigger than a win.
We're out here just having a benefit softball tournament for Kyle Newman, who was shot a couple weeks ago in the line of duty.
The tournament was organized to help Newman's family while he recovers.
We all know how hard it can be, as far as financially, when your family just wants to be there by his side while he recovers.
Chris says he expected a good turnout, but not this.
I was expecting, maybe like 8 teams just come play a little tournament, and it blew up within 24 hours. I had at least 18 teams within 2 days of this tournament. Now we have 24 entered out here playing today.
Teams included Fort Smith Fire, Fort Smith Police, Oklahoma Highway Patrol, Fayetteville Police, Fort Smith EMS, and others from across the area.
Fort Smith Dispatch was there for us when we lost an officer in the line of duty, so we wanted to repay that to them.
The dispatchers say that kind of support matters, especially in the days after a line of duty incident.
We still struggle every day with our officer that we lost, so I can only imagine how they feel knowing that theirs is still in the hospital.
And it wasn't just first responders. Local businesses and high school students donated and volunteered to show their support.
It just goes to show the support that this community has for, your law enforcement, your fire and EMS personnel.
We're here if you need us.
Yep, we're here for you guys.
And we support you guys through and through.
All right, the Arkansas Department of Health has issued a boil order as an emergency measure after E. coli was detected in Elkin's water distribution system. Mayor Troy Reed says the positive E. coli sample was collected by an employee who doesn't normally conduct water testing, and it was taken from an impermissible sampling source. He added that the ADH is the regulatory authority and advised residents to follow until further notice. ADH advises residents to boil water for at least 1 minute before consumption, to throw away ice cubes made from unboiled water. And for the first time in 7 years, Lake Weddington opened to the public earlier today. It was, however, just for today. The Community Lake Day was hosted by Darling Retreats in partnership with the Friends of Lake Weddington volunteer group. Organizers say this special one-day reopening gave the public a chance to enjoy the lake and the surrounding recreational area. Father and son Jackson and Shane Grisham say it was a nice, relaxing day with many of the amenities actually open.
Yeah, we've had plenty of space. Like, we came here, got a table, and have nothing but good times, and yet have been able to do all the things, riding the kayaks, playing sand volleyball. It's all been open, and when we're done, somebody wants to hop in, but there's never been any kind of a wait, just a perfect flow.
Well, through restoration efforts led by the Friends of Lake Weddington volunteer group, several buildings at the site have been restored, and the area is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. And a new gym is open in Bentonville, exclusive to those 50 years and older. The new facility at 215 Southwest A Street offers residents access to wellness programs, social spaces, and recreational activities, including a pool, group classes, and more. Parks and Recreation Director David Wright says he's hopeful the community will embrace this project like they have others in the city.
What I hope is that our citizens will love this building the same way they love that promenade downtown, the same way they love Memorial Park, the way they love the community center, the way I love our trail systems. The best thing that we can do is to use our facilities.
Yeah, I wish I could use it too. Unfortunately, not quite there yet. The center opens to the public Monday. Now get this, memberships start at $15 a month, but again, for Bentonville residents. And nearly 85 years after the deadly attack on Pearl Harbor, one Arkansas family is receiving closure that they never expected. Carter Thweet brings us the scene from the burial of Fireman 3rd Class Royal Luker.
A military burial is always special.
Lots of men and women, they do give that ultimate sacrifice.
But some sacrifices happened longer ago than others.
Well, this is honoring a Fireman 3rd Class who made the ultimate sacrifice 85 years ago.
It had long been assumed that Royal Luker of Plainview, Arkansas had died that day at Pearl Harbor, but nobody knew for sure.
I think like my grandmother and his mom, totally gave up on it.
But not everyone did.
The POW MIA Accountability Agency will never stop looking, and even though it's been 85 years, we'll continue to identify and bring every last sailor and soldier home.
With Royal, they did just that, using advancements in DNA technology to identify him earlier this year. So finally, 85 years later, cars and American flags lined the streets as Fireman Luker was laid to rest.
I wish my grandmother and my great-grandmother were here because it would have been very special, but better late than never. So it means the world, and I appreciate all the people that have put so much energy and time into doing this.
Again, that was Carter Thwaite reporting. Now, efforts were made to honor Luker throughout the state today. The office of U.S. Senator Tom Cotton presented the family with flags and other artifacts, and Governor Sanders asked that all flags be flown half-mast throughout the day in his honor. We also got the chance to talk to Luker's grandson this week, who lives in Prairie Grove. John Luker told us he got a booklet from investigators that showcased how they were able to identify his grandpa's remains. He says he was surprised and grateful for the amount of work that went into the process.
It's hard to put into words, how much effort went into this whole thing. And the feelings, from the family members and so forth. I'm getting and hearing the names of family people that I haven't heard, 40 years, 50 years.
You can read more from our conversation with John Luker on our website, 5newsonline.com. And a new comprehensive resource center for domestic abuse victims in Little Rock had their ribbon-cutting ceremony this week. It's the first in the state to offer multiple services under one roof, like medical and mental health services, a salon, cat and dog kennels. It's been in development for the past 11 years. It's a big deal for people like Valerie Williams, who grew up in a domestic violence household. She says the center makes it to where parents don't have to leave their children, which wasn't the case for her growing up.
We'd be sitting in this one room with people we don't know, waiting for her to get back just so she could get back on her feet. With the Family Peace Center, all these resources are sitting right here.
The new building was able to expand the bed capacity from 54 to 132. And Fort Smith police have arrested multiple people in connection with a series of car break-ins this week. Autumn Corley and Genesis Lopez have been charged with contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Charges were also filed against multiple juveniles in the case. Police are reminding residents to lock their vehicles and remove valuables from plain sight again to prevent those car break-ins. Now, 7 villagers entered a cave, but only 5 were found alive after 10 days. 1 was rescued Friday, and the remaining 4 were rescued Saturday. Remy Inocencio has more.
Freedom after 10 dark days trapped in a tiny flooded cave in Laos. 3 muddied men breathing fresh air for the first time, the 4th finding the strength for a small smile. And in the emotional flood of it all, overwhelming terror and grief broke into joy and relief. Less than a day before, divers had brought the first man out, men who had gone looking for gold but were sealed in from heavy rains that kicked off deadly landslides. Rescue divers navigated cloudy, coffee-colored waters through tunnels the length of nearly 3 football fields, only about 1.5 feet at their narrowest points. They found them last Wednesday, after 8 days, weak, hungry, crouched on rocks, but alive. One of the men said he would not have lasted through this weekend. Today, they found that light at the end of their tunnel. And there were 2 more men in their group for a total of 7. The head of the Thai rescue group said that they plan to go deeper inside the cave, about 80 feet deeper, but he said that that section is still heavily flooded. Remy Inocencio, CBS News, London.